I'm Legacy Perez. I've been dancing for 22 years, and I've performed for over 4 million people live. See, one of the biggest things that gets in our way as people, I think, and I believe so, is the ego. But we need ego. Ego's there for a reason. It's our opponent, our challenge. And so if you could learn to shut it on and off, that's the key. And so I'm gonna be up here today to share with you guys, and I'm gonna give you everything. I'm gonna give you all the principles, all the details, all my story, everything. I'm not gonna leave anything back because I want you to do exactly what I'm doing. And that's not holding back and being yourself and reaching the freaking stars. You guys ready for that? Would that be helpful if I can share with you what I did in 2 completely different verticals, dancing and real estate, don't have nothing to do with each other, and succeeded at the top of both of those? Amazing. So I'm a street performer. I don't know if you guys know that. I love street performing. And what we do when we do street performances is hard to keep an audience because they're not sitting down. They pass by, they look at you. So what we do is this thing called post up. I remember when I was 18 years old, Bayside, Florida, sitting there like this, same outfits, my boys next to me, hands on the knees. It's called post up. What's it called? Post up. And it was our first time. My heart was beating like it is now. And he's like, you ready? People are walking by. There's a song playing in the back, Michael Jackson from the speaker. And he's like, dude, let's do it. And so he's like, what time is it? Show time. And the show started. People started gathering. And I'm like, everybody, move in. And he's like, crowd control. Everybody in the back, please move up so the people in the front can't leave. We're about to get started right now. Guys, it's the show starting in 15 seconds. Gather around. Ma'am, don't worry about the dirt on the floor. You can have a seat. The dirt won't be there when you get up. And that was the first time that we had street performed for money, for donations. And so rewind 10 years, I'm 8 years old, and I can remember the first time I ever danced. Like, my family's Colombian. Footloose was playing. I was watching my mom, my dad, my brother, everybody was in the living room. It was a small apartment in the hood, in the ghetto, in Miami, where I almost got kidnapped, by the way. I remember that apartment very vividly. So I'm sitting there watching my mom and my dad do this dance, a Footloose dance, right? And I learned it because I've been watching them, but I had never done it at a party. So my dad is like, he looks at me, he goes, go. And I'm like, nah, man. I don't do that shit. And he's like, papi. And I'm like, no. And so he grabs me and pulls me, and I'm like, no. And then I back up, and then he pulls me, and then he pushes me. And he walks up to me, and he takes $1 out of his pocket, and he gives it to me. And I start doing Footloose. And so we had parties like this very often, right? We had parties like this, and it was so cool. I remember one party in specific. We were sitting, it was outside of my grandparents' house, and my mom was sitting, there was a red car. My mom was sitting down, my dad was sitting on the hood, but they were side by side. And so they're sitting side by side. And my uncles come out and they're like, beso means kiss to my mom and dad. And I had never seen them kiss in my life. And so I'm sitting there, I look back at my mom and dad, I'm like, kiss them. And they didn't kiss. All I wanted them to do was kiss. Because that'll show me that was love. And so I grew up without that love. And so my dad was there, but he wasn't present. And what was crazy about that is that they said that he always says, that's my replica. That's my little boy. He's just like me. And I tried very, very hard to be like, nah, man, I don't want to be like him. But the more I tried, the more I became him. His physical appearance, his hurting my mom emotionally, messing up relationships. And so before I continue that story, guys, and this is for you guys as well, this is something for you. Before I continue, that pain of not feeling loved or not seeing love is what has allowed me to propel, and I'll get to that after. So I see them there, and I'm like, man, this sucks. So my mom and my brother, 2 years later, I was 10 years old. My mom and my brother had to leave to Colombia for 9 months. I remember I was 10 years old. I was in 5th grade, Winston Park Elementary School. And I'm sitting there in class, and I got suspended for my first fight. My dad told me that my mom and my brother couldn't come back yet. And I remember this because I got the highest physical fitness achievement award. I ran the fastest mile. I got into my first fight. I was rebellious. I was stealing little things from the teacher's desk. I was rebelling. I was mad. But I didn't know why. Because my brother and my mom got taken from me, and I didn't understand why. They were in Colombia. So I remember walking home from Winston Park, 5th grade, walking home. And it was around Christmas time, so I'm sitting there, and I'm laying my head on my dad's chest. And he's singing La Novena. Anybody know what La Novena is? It's like a spiritual song they sing in Christmas time for 9 days, and we were praying for my mom and my brother to come back, right? And so I remember the resonance of his voice, and I had my head on his chest, and he's like, na 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 nita na 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 nita na 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 nita yeah. And I said, Dad, I can't stay still. He's like, don't worry, just relax, breathe. I said, no, I can't stay still. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I can't stay still. That night, I had created with my pain what I would be ashamed of, humiliated by, and hurt and embarrassed for the rest of my life until now. I started twitching. I do a very good job controlling it, huh? And so I'm sitting there, and I'm in class, and I went to 7th grade. I played the piano. When I would leave playing the piano, I would do this weird thing with my fingers to try to make them go opposite. Opposite. And they would go the same, and I'd get mad, and I'd try to put my chin inside my neck and hit here and hit myself here, my chest, my knees. It's like I was trying to connect something, had this thing inside me. And if I stopped doing it, I would later on do it even more. And so I remember getting to 9th grade, sitting in class, they had a show and tell. This guy, Leo, was doing a show and tell, and he started doing this thing. I was like, what's he doing? I was like, hey man, what is that? He's like, that's b-boying, that's breaking, that's dancing. And I said, man, that's cool, can you teach me? He's like, yeah. So I came over, and he started teaching me. And what I noticed is that I could cover my twitches. And whatever I did, it was movement that you couldn't tell because I was good at moving, and you can't tell what's a twitch or a dance move. So I did a very good job covering it up. I've been dancing for 22 years. Right? So what happens, and you got this twitch, and you try to cover it up. You become the best dancer in the world.